There is a sound you only hear when you are close to death. It is not dramatic. It is not loud. It is quiet. It is the sound of time running out. I hear it every morning now. My name is Daniel Carter. I am 94 years old, and I am dying. Not today, maybe not this week, but soon. At this age, death is no longer a surprise. It is a shadow that sits beside your bed. It watches you breathe. It waits patiently. And when you know it's coming, something strange happens. You stop caring about being impressive. You stop pretending you are strong. You stop lying to yourself. You see your life clearly, painfully clearly. And here is the terrifying part. Most of what I gave my life to did not matter. The promotions, the arguments, the stress, the pride, the ego, none of it is sitting beside me now. Do you know what is? Regret. Regret is very quiet, but it is heavy. I am 94 years old, and I need to tell you something before I leave this world, because if I don't, you will repeat my mistakes. You will chase what I chased. You will ignore what I ignored. You will think you have time. You don't. You think you are different. You're not. At 25, I thought I was smart. At 40, I thought I was powerful. At 60, I thought I was successful. At 80, I started losing friends. At 90, I started losing pieces of myself. And now? Now I understand life. But understanding comes at the worst time, when there is no time left to use it. If you are young, if you are stressed, if you are overthinking your future, listen carefully, because I am going to tell you what people only realize when they are dying, and by the time most people realize it, they are already too late. Let me tell you who I was before I became this old man in a quiet room, because I was not always slow. I was not always reflective. I was not always honest. I was ambitious, hungry, restless, and blind. I remember the day I left home. I was 18 years old, one suitcase, $47 in my pocket, and a heart full of fire. My mother was crying quietly in the kitchen. My father didn't hug me, he just said, "Make something of yourself." That sentence became my religion. Make something of yourself. Do you know what that does to a young man? It plants a question inside him. Am I nothing right now? And from that day, I was running. Not walking. Running. Running from being ordinary, running from being poor, running from disappointing my father, running from feeling small. Young people don't chase success. They chase worth. I didn't want money. I wanted to feel important. There's a difference. At 22, I worked 2 jobs. At 25, I got married. Her name was Eleanor. She had the softest laugh I had ever heard. She believed in me. She looked at me like I was already successful. But I didn't see that as love. I saw it as pressure. Because when someone believes in you, you feel like you cannot fail. So I worked more. Longer hours, more stress, less sleep. I told myself, this is temporary. Temporary sacrifice, temporary absence, temporary distance. But here's something nobody tells you. Temporary habits become permanent patterns. I missed dinners.
I missed small moments. I missed conversations. But I told myself, I'm doing this for my family. That's how ego hides. It disguises itself as responsibility. Psychologically, when we attach our identity to achievement, we stop noticing emotional damage. I didn't notice when Eleanor stopped laughing as much. I didn't notice when my son stopped waiting by the door. I didn't notice when my daughter stopped asking me to read bedtime stories, because I was building a future, but I was destroying the present. At 35, I bought a bigger house. I remember standing in the empty living room. Hardwood floors, tall ceilings, beautiful.
I felt proud for about 10 minutes. Then something strange happened. Silence. No joy explosion, no deep fulfillment, just silence. That was the first time I felt it, the emptiness after achievement. But instead of questioning it, I doubled down. Maybe I just need more. More money, more status, more recognition. And that is how the trap closes. The world rewards you for neglecting what truly matters. They promote you, they praise you, they call you disciplined. But no one sees the quiet cost at home. No one sees the emotional debt building up. At 42, I had everything I dreamed of as an 18-year-old boy. Respect, power, security. But one night, I came home late again. The house was dark, everyone asleep. I stood in my own kitchen and felt like a visitor. Have you ever felt alone inside your own success? It's a strange kind of loneliness, because on the outside you look powerful. On the inside, you feel disconnected. That was the beginning. The beginning of understanding something I wish I knew at 20. Achievement fills your schedule. It does not fill your soul. If you are young and listening, be careful what you build your identity around, because one day you might wake up successful and realize you are empty. And the scariest part? The world will still call you a winner. The first real crack in my confidence came when I was 29 years old. I was in the middle of closing a major deal, big opportunity. The kind of opportunity young, ambitious men dream about. My phone rang. It was my mother. She rarely called during work hours. I almost didn't answer. I'm glad I did. Her voice was small. Your father collapsed this morning. Collapsed. Such a simple word. It doesn't sound permanent. It doesn't sound final. She said he was in the hospital. She said the doctors were unsure. She said, "If you can, come." If you can. That phrase haunted me for years. If you can. I looked at the contracts on my desk. I looked at the clock. I looked at my future. And I said the most expensive sentence of my life. I'll come this weekend. This weekend. It was Tuesday. My father died Thursday night. I never saw him again. When you're young, you think death sends warnings. You think it gives you time to prepare. It doesn't. Death is not polite. It doesn't check your calendar. It doesn't care about your schedule. It doesn't respect your ambition. It just arrives. I remember standing at his funeral. People were speaking about him. Strong man, hard-working, honest, disciplined. I realized something that day. I didn't know him as well as I thought I did, because I had been too busy becoming him. And there is a difference between knowing someone and chasing their approval.
Psychologically, young men often spend their lives trying to prove something to their fathers, even after they're gone.
I thought if I became successful enough, he would finally be proud. But he never asked for success. He asked for presence. I misunderstood him. I misunderstood time. Here is the truth about time that no one tells you. You do not experience it evenly. When you are young, years feel long. When you are older, years feel like weeks. And when you are dying, weeks feel like hours. Time accelerates, and you never notice it while it's happening. At 29, 1 week felt insignificant. At 94, 1 week feels precious. Perspective changes the value of time, but by the time your perspective changes, your time is almost gone. For years after my father died, I replayed that Tuesday in my head. What if I had driven there immediately? What if I had left the meeting? What if I had chosen differently? Regret is a loop. It does not move forward. It replays over and over and over. Young people believe they will always have another conversation, another holiday, Another phone call. Another chance to say, I appreciate you. That belief is comforting and dangerous because life does not guarantee another. It only guarantees now. After my father's death, something shifted inside me, but not enough. That's the tragedy. Pain doesn't automatically create wisdom. Sometimes it just creates more pressure. I told myself, I'll work even harder. I'll make him proud. So instead of slowing down, I sped up. That is how trauma sometimes works. Instead of reflecting, you run. Instead of grieving, you achieve. Instead of feeling, you distract yourself. And the world rewards you for it. They called me strong. They said, he didn't let it break him. But it did break me. Just quietly. And the cost would show up later. In my marriage, in my children, in my health, in my loneliness. Here is the illusion I believed. I have time. Time to fix things, time to reconnect, time to rest, time to repair relationships. Time to apologize. Time to live. But time is not something you have. It is something you spend. And most of us spend it carelessly. If you are watching this right now, ask yourself something uncomfortable. Who are you postponing? Who are you assuming will still be there next year? What conversation are you delaying? What hug are you skipping? Because one day, you will stand in front of a grave and realize the opportunity expired. And no success, no money, no status will buy you 5 more minutes. Pause. Slow breath. If I could relive one day of my life, it would not be a promotion. It would not be a victory. It would be that Tuesday. I would close the laptop. I would leave the office. I would drive through the night. I would sit beside his hospital bed. And I would say, thank you. But life does not offer replays. It only offers lessons. And sometimes, the lesson comes with a loss. I married Eleanor when I was 25. She was 22, bright, kind, full of life. Her laugh could light a room. Her touch could calm storms. Her eyes, I swear they saw straight through me, even when I was lying to myself. At first, love felt effortless. We stayed up late, talking about dreams. We walked under stars.
We believed life would always feel like that. But life is not kind to illusions. By 30, I was busy building my future. I told myself, if I sacrifice now, we'll have security. Love will survive. I was wrong. I missed dinners. I missed conversations. I missed the small moments that were the glue of our life together. And slowly, she began to disappear from me. Not entirely, not suddenly, but in subtle ways. The warmth in her eyes dimmed. The laughs became quieter. The questions at the table became shorter. One evening, I came home after a late meeting. She sat in the living room. Silence. She didn't say hello. She didn't ask about my day. I thought she was tired. I thought she'd forgive me tomorrow.
She didn't. She simply whispered,
"Daniel, you're here, but you're not with me."
I froze. Those words haunted me for decades. They were not anger. They were not an accusation. They were grief, quietly spoken. I realized then that love cannot survive on autopilot. Presence matters more than presence. Attention matters more than ambition. Psychologically, humans crave connection. Not money, not achievements, not social status. Connection. Feeling seen, feeling understood, feeling valued. I had assumed that providing was enough, that giving her a house, a car, a life of comfort was love. It was not. The cost of ignoring emotional needs is invisible at first. It accumulates silently, like a shadow creeping over a room. You don't notice it until the room is dark. By 40, we had 2 children. I told myself, now I have to work harder. I have to secure their future. And I did. I became the provider, the disciplinarian, the man everyone respected. but I became a stranger to my wife. And sometimes, I became a stranger to myself. By 50, I could see it clearly. We sat together at dinner. I asked a question. She answered quietly. Her eyes no longer searched mine. I wanted to yell. I wanted to fix it, but I didn't know how. And by then, habits had hardened. Distance had hardened. I learned something painfully simple. You cannot make up for lost presence with gifts. You cannot replace love with achievement. You cannot chase success and hold on to a heart at the same time. At least, not without paying a price. And the price is loneliness. Not the kind you can feel alone in a room, but the kind you feel with someone you love, when they are physically near, but emotionally gone. I ask myself often, did I love her enough? Did I show it enough? Did I see her enough? Even at 94, the answers are complicated, because love is a living thing. It requires care every single day, and if you ignore it, even for ambition or fear, it leaves, slowly, quietly, and the emptiness it leaves is deafening. Pause. Rain intensifies. Camera pans to empty chair. If I could give one piece of advice to anyone watching this, do not wait. Do not assume love is automatic. Do not take someone's presence for granted. Do not postpone attention, affection, or apologies. Because when you finally notice the distance, it may be too late to bridge it. And the hardest part? You will still love them. You will still want to connect. But the moment has slipped quietly
like sand through your fingers. By the time I turned 50, I thought I had life figured out. I had a title, a house, a car, money in the bank. I thought I was untouchable. I thought I was safe. I was wrong. Money is a strange illusion. It gives you comfort, it gives you influence, it gives you pride, but it cannot give you loyalty. It cannot buy love. It cannot heal regret. I remember the day my business partner betrayed me. We had built everything together. Years of sweat, late nights, sacrifices. And one phone call later, half of what I had worked for was gone. Money felt meaningless. I learned then that the real security is not in what you own. It is in what you give and whom you trust. Young people think wealth equals freedom. It does not. It gives you options and responsibility and illusionary control. Speaking of control, my health taught me the same lesson. I ignored my body for decades. Late nights, cigarettes, skip workouts, ignore pain. I thought I was invincible. At 68, my heart disagreed. At 70, my knees protested. At 75, I could barely climb stairs. Health is a silent gift. You only notice it when it is gone. And when your body begins to fail, you realize all your plans, achievements, and ambitions are worthless without it. We fool ourselves thinking we control life. We think that more money, more effort, more planning will protect us from pain, loss, aging, death.
It does not. The illusion of control is the cruelest trick of all, because you spend your life chasing it, and the moment you realize it's an illusion, it is already too late to reclaim the time. I see so many young people chasing success, money, power. They run as fast as I once did. And for what? To feel safe in a body that will betray them anyway? To feel important in a world that won't remember their titles? Here is the bitter truth. Money cannot stop death. Money cannot mend broken relationships. Money cannot heal a lonely heart. The only thing you can control is how you spend your time, who you love, how you show up, and how you forgive. Even small moments matter more than grand achievements. I remember sitting in my study at 80, looking at the empty chair where my father once sat, looking at the photograph of Eleanor smiling, gone, looking at my children, grown, distant, busy. All the money in the world could not bring back the conversations I missed, Could not bring back the hugs I postponed, could not give me back my health, and that is a reality most people never want to face until the very end. So here's my advice. Spend time wisely, love fiercely, take care of your body, and never assume that life will wait for you, because it will not. Money is a tool. Health is a gift. Time is the only currency you cannot earn back. And when you are dying, you realize the only investments that matter are the people you held close, the moments you lived fully, and the love you didn't take for granted. Pause. Long silence. Heartbeat fades. If you are listening, ask yourself, what am I chasing that doesn't matter? Who am I ignoring that does? How am I spending my time today so I won't regret it tomorrow? Because the answer
may define the rest of your life. I am 94 years old. I have lived a long life. I have loved. I have lost. I have achieved. I have failed.
And now, I sit in this quiet room, thinking about the one thing I wish I could tell everyone before they get here, before they reach this age, before they realize too late. Life is not what you think it is. It is not the promotions. It is not the money. It is not the applause. Life is the quiet moments, the shared laughter, the hand you hold, the words you speak when no one is listening. Do not wait. Do not wait to tell someone you love them. Do not wait to apologize. Do not wait to say thank you. Do not wait to be present, because later may never come. I remember my father. I never visited him when I should have. I remember my wife, Eleanor. I missed her presence while chasing ambition. I remember my children. I forgot that small moments matter more than lessons, and I have carried that regret for decades. Now, I cannot fix it. I cannot go back. All I can do is share it. If you are young, if you are stressed, if you are chasing what doesn't matter, stop. Look around. Look at the people who are alive today. Hold them. Talk to them. Forgive them. Love them. The world will not pause for you. The deadlines will not wait. The achievements will not mean anything if you are alone. I am not afraid of dying anymore. What scares me is the thought of lives spent missing what truly matters. So here is my final message before I go. Do not waste your time chasing illusions. Do not mistake money for love. Do not measure your worth by achievements. Do not ignore your body, your health, your heart. Live slowly. Love fiercely. Forgive quickly. Be present completely. Because when you are 94, or when your own time comes, you will not remember the deals you closed. You will not remember the awards you won. You will remember the people you loved, the moments you were there, the hearts you touched. And that is the only measure of a life well lived. Pause. Breath. Long silence. I am Daniel Carter. I am 94 years old. And if you take only one thing from my life, make it this. Be here now, before it is too late.